Alright folks, well, I'm all fueled up. Just stopped over here because I saw a guy pull in. He was on a CBR and I couldn't see if it was the 600 or the 1000, so I had to go over and see, and then sure enough it was a 1000. Anyways, what we're going to talk about right now is the importance of a new biker, the importance of riding with someone who is experienced while you're getting acclimated to motorcycling. Now, for me, I was very fortunate because my best friend Trent is an avid bike rider. So he actually went with me to help me with purchasing a motorcycle. After we purchased it, he took me down to, it was basically just the school parking lot, and he just helped me with some, maneuverability tips and some exercises to do on the motorcycle. And I got to tell you, that in and of itself was a huge help. And so that's all I did for about the first week on the motorcycle. So I went and got my temporaries. The very next, actually, no, this is what's funny. So we went to get the motorcycle I was going to get. I was set on. I said, I'm going to get that one. We go up to the place, and the guy's like, all right, not to make this any more difficult, but I just got a Harley Sportster in that we've prepped. We've done the safety check, and they have some 20-point inspection they do before they sell the bike. And he goes, it's outside, I wanted you to look at it before you. Okay, so I go out there, and I'm like, oh, I was like, that's it. I fell in love with it. Sat on it, started up. I'm like, that's it. So the funny part of that story is, since I didn't have my temporaries, Trent drove it home for me. It's very important to get someone that you know that rides, and they don't have to be a guy that's been riding for 30 years. Even if you ride with a guy that's been doing it a year or two, because I can tell you, just the 3 months that I've been on this riding, I have learned a lot. I mean, a lot. And it was a huge help having someone with me that has ridden before. And what we would do is, for the first 2 weeks after I got my temps, we just rode around my neighborhood and worked on turning and counter steering, braking, making sure that I'm in the right gears, and downshifting and those kind of things. And we did that for about 2 weeks, and finally we went out on the road. And one of the things that he did was, on the way to where we were gonna maybe go eat lunch, he would lead and I would just watch him, and then we would take the same route back, only he would let me lead. That way, on the way there, I was kind of getting familiar with the road. There were little things I'd remember, like, oh, hey, there was a gravel driveway back there, and the guy looked like he had strewn mud all over the street. So that was really helpful. And then on the way back, I would lead, and then when we were done, he just kind of made mental notes of things that I could do better, or mistakes that I might have made, so on and so forth. So that's one thing that's very helpful, to get someone that you trust, that you can go out and ride with, because they're going to help you a lot with riding conditions and things to do and not do, and things that motorists are not going to understand about a motorcycle, like braking distance and distance between vehicles. And one thing that he told me that just keeps sticking in my head is, when I first got this, I didn't want to go out and buy a bunch of gear and then regret buying all that gear and having just sit around. So I gradually bought safety gear as I started doing more research and understanding what I wanted and what I was comfortable with and what I felt I needed to ride safely on the motorcycle. And so for the first week where we were actually out riding on the road, I would wear those, I think they're like 3M knee pads. It's like the gymnastic knee pads with kind of the hard top. It's almost like a knee pad for construction. And I would wear those with just a pair of jeans, and then I had elbow pads to match. And when he first saw them, he kind of chuckled, obviously because they look funny. But I said, hey, you know, I'm not sure what type of jacket I want or knee pads. And he goes, hey, you know what? You ride your ride. And that's one thing I would tell all new bikers. And again, I am a new biker. Again, that's why I'm doing these videos. You ride your ride. And if that means you wear a metal armor, a suit with chainmail, you do you, man. You do you. You ride your ride. And that is very, very, very important. And you're going to learn a lot of stuff from from an experienced rider that you might not get on your own. And if you do get it on your own, sometimes it's done mistakenly. You make a mistake, and that's how you learned it. And that is not always the best way to learn something on a motorcycle, because that means there's a possibility you could get injured, hurt, or God forbid even killed. So if you have an experienced rider that can kind of walk you through things and you know, watch how you're riding and driving, that's better than trying to, you know, attempt it and do it on your own. Oh, these things suck. Oh, grooved roads and cuts, man, those are terrible. Some of those, you hit them, you feel like your rim just bent. Grooved wet pavement, forget about it. And that section I just rode, I actually rode that a couple days ago, and it started raining, and that whole section was grooved. And it felt like I had two sumo wrestlers, one on each side of my saddlebag, tugging the bike back and forth. So back to hooking up with someone that's experienced. Get someone that's experienced, someone that you're comfortable riding with. If it's someone who's kind of an adrenaline junkie and they like to ride fast, and that's probably not the guy you want to go with. So experienced rider is very important. The next thing that's very important, along with riding with someone who's experienced, is taking a rider's class. All right, that's different than just going and taking your maneuverability test for your motorcycle endorsement. That's two different things. So I took mine at the place. There's a place called the Iron Pony, and they have a rider's class. It was a classroom one day, I think 4 hours, 5 hours maybe, and then 2 days, it was a weekend, 2 days of riding and instruction, then you do your maneuverability test at the end. And I have to tell you, I learned a lot of stuff in that class, things that even other riders will tell you, and then you find out in that class that it's completely wrong, that they told you the exact opposite. And I think that's true with any type of activity, you know, whether it's motorcycling or golf or baseball or hiking or fishing or canoeing. You know, there's always someone who's like, oh no, you got to do it this way. And then you take a class from a professional and they're like, no, that's wrong, and here's why. And they actually have proof and statistics and data to prove that what you've been told is wrong. Excuse me. So rider class is very important. That it's going to teach you a lot.